Hi guys, welcome back to How the Light Gets In. I have great news. They fixed the HVAC in my office and now it's a normal temperature, so I'm not going to be quietly shivering while I talk to you today. It's great. So today we're going to talk about motivation and why it is a fickle bitch that we cannot trust. So there's a lot of factors to this, and I'm not going to get into all of them because that would involve inviting you guys very deeply into my personal business, and I just don't think I'm ready for that. But for a lot of reasons, I am super not good at recognizing and being able to describe and address my own feelings. I'm much better at it now than I ever have been in the past, but it's still something I struggle with. Which means that when I get depressed, as I am prone to do, I don't always notice because I don't feel like sad, or if I do, I have compartmentalized it so tightly that it's unnoticeable. Instead, I kind of have to do this like self-behavioral inventory and figure out that like, oh, I'm coming home from work and then just lying on the couch until it's time to go to bed. And taking care of myself seems like a lot of work. And dumb things make me cry. And then I realize what is happening to me because I am a therapist and should be better at this than I am. But one of the big things that I struggle with, and one of the big things that a lot of people with depression struggle with, is motivation. When you are sad and tired and fatigued and worn out, the last thing you want to do is stuff. And that's like the really problematic dichotomy of depression. Because the best treatment for depression is to like do a bunch of stuff. To go out and be busy and meet people and engage socially and exercise and eat properly and see the sun and get a normal amount of sleep and shower and do your laundry and like all of the many, many, many things involved in being a functional adult person. And the primary side effect of depression is that you want to do no things. And it becomes very, very hard for people, including myself, to be able to get from that I don't want to do things place to the doing of the things. Part of that has to do with the way that we set that system up for ourselves. When you're feeling good, it's not hard to make choices based on how you're feeling, because you feel good. You feel capable, you feel like you have energy, you feel like you're interested in things. And when you lose that aspect of it, when you're feeling tired and depressed and don't really care about anything, then anytime you ask yourself, what do I feel like doing today? The answer is nothing, or as close to nothing as you can possibly get. I do tend to tease people when I ask them what they've done this week and they say nothing. And I'm like, oh, you sat in a dark room and stared at a wall for like 24 hours a day? Because no one's truly doing nothing. But if all you're able to do, or all that you feel like you can do, is to lie quietly in a dark room and stare at a wall for 24 hours a day, it's really hard to get from that to accomplishing whatever sorts of goals you have for yourself, or whatever tasks in your life need to be completed. And because we conceptualize it in this, like, I'll do it when I feel like it kind of way, things get backburnered. Even people without depression do this all the time. I do this all the time, even when I'm not depressed. I save it for later, because then I'm going to feel like it. No, I'm not. It's very, very rare that you're going to spontaneously just really feel like getting at it and accomplishing things. Motivation is a trap. It comes and it goes, but it's not something that we can rely on. As I said at the beginning, in a really classless way, motivation is a fickle bitch. She shows up when she feels like it, and she leaves when she feels like it. And in between, you have to have something in place to be able to manage your life. And that something is generally discipline. The human brain is not technically designed to achieve long-term goals. For most of human history, we only lived to like 30. So what was the point in having a retirement goal? You weren't going to get there. You were going to like try and eat until you died, and that was it. Our brains are not fully caught up with where we're at human evolution-wise. They're not aware that we live in secure houses and that we have the internet and that, we can control our environment in a way that humans in the past were never ever able to. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when we talked about tolerating discomfort. The human brain is designed to seek comfort, and comfort is generally the opposite of discipline. Discipline involves tolerating your own discomfort and able to push yourself towards a goal. Discipline is about doing things you don't feel like doing because it's going to get you to where you want to be. And discipline is not like a mythical fairy in the same way that motivation is. It doesn't come and go. You cultivate it. You make a practice of it. You develop it for yourself, and then you always have it at your disposal, no matter how much you might not feel like doing anything. It's not an easy thing. That's probably pretty obvious, or we'd all just be out there like killing it, reaching all our goals like day by day. And most of us are not doing that. Discipline is a lot of work. So how do you bridge that gap from I'm depressed and don't feel like doing anything to I have cultivated a great deal of discipline and can do whatever I set my mind to? Part of it is that you don't start the conversation about what you're going to do today with what do I feel like doing? Take your feelings out of the equation. You cannot factor them in when you're making choices about your behavior. Because if you do, you're not going to be able to build consistency for yourself. And a huge part of discipline is being able to be consistent about things. So don't ask yourself what you feel like doing. Ask yourself what you want to be doing. Ask yourself where you want to be in a year or 5 years or 10 years. And what do I need to do now to get myself there? Ask yourself what you need to do. Ask yourself what would be good to do. Don't ask yourself how you feel, because the feeling part of yourself wants to do nothing most of the time, because the feeling part of yourself is feeling, and feeling does not involve a lot of practical action in a forward direction, generally speaking. More practically, one thing that you can do is start what's called a shortlist for yourself. I came across this idea on a fitness blog a few years ago and really, really liked it. And so I've incorporated it into my practice a lot. I think at this point, every single client that I'm treating for depression also has a short list. I have a short list for days when I literally feel like I can do nothing else. So a short list should be, at the beginning at least, 3 to 4 things that you can reliably push yourself to accomplish every single day. And once you've established your initial shortlist as a routine, you can add more stuff to it or lengthen the things that are on it or whatever you need to do to start pushing yourself closer to where you want to be. But at the very beginning, particularly if you are pretty depressed and really, really struggling to do anything, you should be able to execute your full shortlist in 20 to 30 minutes. So my bare bones minimum shortlist, if I am super depressed and don't want to get out of bed and can't even make myself go to work, then I will, at the very least, brush my teeth, wash my face, take my dog outside, and put the dishes I have used that day into my dishwasher. That's it. That's my shortlist for when I'm not doing well. And when I'm doing better, I add things to that list. And instead of just letting my dog out, I take my dog for a walk. And instead of just putting my dishes in the dishwasher, I clean my kitchen. And instead of just washing my face and brushing my teeth, I take a shower. It needs to be flexible to a point. It cannot be so flexible that you are allowed to dismiss the whole thing and do nothing, because then what's the point of having it? So sit down and really think about it. If I'm not doing well and I can't push myself to do the things I want to be doing, what's a good starting point for me? What are 3 or 4 or 5 things that I can finish in 20 to 30 minutes and have some sense of accomplishment for my day? This is not a magical cure-all that's going to make your lack of motivation make everything better, but it's a place to start. It's a way to get your brain used to the idea that you can do things even when you don't feel like doing things. And that's an important idea to be able to hold in your brain. Because part of what often goes along with that lack of motivation is this persistent belief that because I can't do anything right now, I won't be able to do anything ever. They've actually done studies about this to go along with my common theme of your brain is lazy and lying to you. So the human brain believes that however you feel right now in this moment is how you're going to feel forever. So like right now I'm kind of hungry and I'm pretty thirsty. And so there's a part of my brain that truly believes that I will be kind of hungry and pretty thirsty until I die. It's not, helpful. The study they did on this, actually, they interviewed people who were going into a gym and they interviewed people as they were coming out. And basically what they determined is that people going into the gym anticipated feeling hungry later because they felt hungry right now. And people leaving the gym anticipated feeling thirsty later because they were thirsty right now. The part of our brain that regulates those feelings and those desires does not understand how time works. It doesn't have the same benefit that your higher brain does of understanding that what is true now may not be true later or maybe wasn't true before. It's hard not to give in to those impulses from your lizard brain because the job of your lizard brain is to literally keep you alive. So the feelings and desires it has are usually based around keeping you alive. And so they can feel very emergent and very important, even if they factually are not. Remember that how you feel right now is not how you are going to feel forever. Try and draw on your past experiences to prove that to yourself. Because even if you have been profoundly depressed for a great deal of your life, hopefully there have been days here and there where you did not feel that way. Remember that. Put it in perspective for yourself. Just because you don't feel like doing anything Monday doesn't mean that you're not going to feel like doing anything on Friday. I see a lot of people with anxiety and depression combinations do that to themselves. They'll decide on Tuesday whether or not they're going to go do something Saturday. Hell, I do that. I make decisions way far in advance because maybe I'm not going to feel like it. And that's a terrible way to make your choices. You don't know on Tuesday how you're going to feel on Saturday. You can guess and you can estimate and you can kind of anticipate. But as that study about the gym shows us, our brains can't think that far ahead in terms of how we're going to feel. I know that what I'm asking you to do here is not an easy thing. It's not really my job as a therapist to ask you to do easy things. If it was, it would not have taken me so long to be good at it and people wouldn't pay me so much to do it. It's hard and it's uncomfortable. And it's a really good way for you to work on your ability to tolerate discomfort and push yourself forwards. As difficult as it may be, trust yourself, the part of yourself that's making these big decisions, that it will be worth it in the end. Because I'm telling you, it will be worth it in the end. That's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm so glad that you came. If you like this video, look at all my other ones, or like it or share it or subscribe. There's so many buttons down there. Push some of them. If you have questions or comments or thoughts, you are welcome to leave them in the comments below, or find me on Twitter, or email me, or hell, follow me on Instagram. It's emma.cott. I remember that exists every month or so and put something nice on there. Yeah, I'm around. Get in touch. It'd be nice to talk to you. I will see you next time.